Because of these 7 mistakes, people can have a good salary and still live broke. Not because they're stupid, but because money leaks through habits that look normal, even grown up. I'm Henry. And I'm not going to bury you in theory or sell you a fairy tale. I'm going to walk you through 7 of the most common mistakes I see over and over, in families, in single households, in people at every income level. For each one, I'll keep it simple. What exactly is wrecking your money, and what to do instead? No complicated systems. If you already recognize yourself in this, hit like so I know this is real life, not just talk, and we'll start with the first mistake. It's so quiet that most people don't even count it as a mistake, until the end of the month looks the same every time: zero, stress, and that feeling like your money just disappears. The first mistake is living without a simple monthly plan. It sounds boring, so people ignore it. But it's exactly why your money disappears, even though you don't feel like you're buying anything crazy. It usually looks like this: payday hits, and for the first few days you can breathe. Bills get paid, a couple deliveries, a small thing on the way home, something for the house, a subscription, coffee, rides, one more little purchase. None of it feels like spending because each one is small. Then suddenly the middle of the month shows up, and you're already counting days until the next paycheck. A plan isn't about spreadsheets or tracking every cent. A plan is 3 numbers. Here's how I do it. First, what actually hit your account. Second, your non-negotiables: rent, loans, insurance, phone. Third, what's left for living. And here's the key: I split the living number by weeks, not by the month. A monthly limit tricks you. It looks big, and it's easy to burn through it in the first 10 days. The simplest setup is a weekly cap and one rule: if you go over, you cut something else. No excuses: no, I'll make it up next month. Either you control your spending now, or it controls you automatically. And even if you do this perfectly, there's a second mistake that breaks people the fastest: one unexpected bill, and your whole plan ends up on a credit card. The second mistake is having no emergency buffer. Not someday I'll save, not I have good intentions, I mean zero space between your life and your credit card. So the moment something normal happens, the plan you made in part 2 collapses, because real life doesn't ask for permission. A tire blows. A dentist visit costs more than you expected. Your phone dies at the worst time. A fee hits, a bill shows up early, your hours dip for a week. None of that is dramatic, but without a buffer, every small hit turns into debt. And once you start patching holes with debt, you're not managing money anymore. You're just reacting. Here's the fix, and it's simple: build a buffer account that has one job: take the punch so you don't have to. Separate it from your main spending account. Automate a transfer the day you get paid, even if it's small. Treat it like a bill you owe yourself. Your first goal isn't 6 months. Your first goal is boring and powerful: $500 to $1,000. Just enough to stop emergencies from becoming credit card balances. Now I want you to answer this honestly in the comments: if a random $500 bill hits tomorrow, are you paying it with savings or a credit card? And how many days could you last if your income paused? Because if the answer is credit card, the next mistake becomes your normal, and that's where people get stuck for years. The third mistake is credit cards and minimum payments. It's a trap because it looks responsible: you're paying, so everything must be fine. But in reality, the minimum often keeps you on a leash for years. You send money out every month, and the balance barely moves. I've seen it over and over. A person is working, functioning, doing normal life, and a chunk of every paycheck doesn't go to living or building anything. It goes to servicing last month. The worst part is how fast it starts to feel normal. Like everyone lives this way. And then you notice, you're not saving, you're not moving forward, you're just patching holes. The fix isn't complicated, but it requires one rule: stop paying whatever they tell you and start paying a fixed amount above the minimum. You choose your payment, the same number every month. Then pick one target and finish it. Either attack the card with the highest interest first, or knock out the smallest balance first so you feel momentum. The key is not spreading yourself thin. And one more thing: while you're paying it down, you can't keep living on the card. Remove it from Apple Pay, cancel it as a default payment method, stop using it just in case. Otherwise, you're pouring water into a bucket with a hole. But even when people finally crawl out of credit cards, they get caught by something smarter. The next mistake sounds harmless, but it quietly destroys people who think they're in control: buying based on the monthly payment instead of the real total cost. The fourth mistake is buying not the thing, but this monthly payment. It feels safe, you see a number that seems to fit your budget, and your brain goes, okay, I can handle that. And that's exactly how people sign up for expenses that squeeze them for years. It works the same way everywhere. A car only $299 a month. A phone only $39. A couch only $25. And every time, they're not showing you the price, they're showing you a comfortable screen. Behind it is the term, the interest, the fees, the add-ons, and the biggest problem, you get used to living in monthly chains. The issue isn't even financing by itself. The issue is that monthly payment makes you ignore the total cost. You think in the next 30 days, but you're committing yourself for 24, 48, 72 months. The fix is simple. Before any monthly payment purchase, ask 3 questions. 1. How much will I pay in total, down to the last dollar? 2. How many months am I locking myself into this? 3. If my income dips for a month, can I still handle this without a credit card? And one more rule, set your limit by price, not by payment. If something fits only because they stretch the term for years, it's not affordable right now, even if someone smiles and says, everyone does it. Because the next thing happens to people who think they fixed it. The moment your income grows, your money starts disappearing even faster, and you can't figure out why. The 5th mistake is when your income goes up, but you still have no money. It's not magic. It's simple, your lifestyle rises faster than your financial foundation. It usually looks reasonable. You're not buying a yacht. You're just upgrading a little, pricier subscriptions, more delivery, rides instead of public transit, a nicer place for comfort, a new phone since I can, small stuff, and suddenly your expenses quietly catch up to your new income. Sometimes they pass it. And you're right back to living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher price level. The most dangerous part is how justified it feels. And it is justified. You did earn it. But if every upgrade happens immediately, with no pause, you stay trapped in the same loop. Everything you earned on top gets eaten by your new normal. The fix is simple and barely requires willpower. One rule, split every raise before you feel it. Half goes into the system, half goes into life. Into the system means your emergency buffer, debt payoff, savings. And the best way is automatic, on payday, because if the money hits your card first, your brain has already spent it for you. And one more thing, delay upgrades. Not I got paid, I upgrade my life, but I got paid, I lock in my foundation, then I upgrade comfort. That's when income growth actually leaves a mark instead of just changing the background, because the next mistake breaks even disciplined people in a single day. And it sounds harmless, I have insurance, so I'm protected. The 6th mistake is thinking insurance automatically protects you. It's one of the most painful traps because the word insurance sounds like a promise, everything's covered. People relax. And then the bill shows up, and you can't understand how it's possible if you did everything right. The problem is almost always in the details. Nobody looks at until it's too late, how much you have to pay out of pocket before insurance even starts working, what your yearly maximum is, and what counts as in-network versus out-of-network. If you land in the wrong place or the paperwork isn't exactly right, the number can look like insurance never existed. The fix isn't some clever hack. It's 3 habits. First, know your 2 numbers, don't guess. How much you pay out of pocket before coverage kicks in, and what your annual ceiling is. Those 2 numbers decide whether you stay calm or get hit by one bill. Second, before any procedure, don't be afraid to ask for a cost estimate and confirm everything is in network. It sounds annoying, but it saves hundreds or thousands, because the surprise is usually not the diagnosis, it's the paperwork. Third, when the bill arrives, don't treat it like a final verdict. Ask for an itemized bill, check the lines, dispute mistakes and duplicates. A lot of the time, things stick only because you stay quiet. And here's the key, even if you do all of that, one small habit can still make your life more expensive everywhere, quietly, month after month. That's mistake, and it doesn't hit your mood. It hits your numbers. The 7th mistake is missing payments and keeping your bills in chaos. It doesn't look like a money problem until you start noticing something weird. You're paying more for the same life than you should. Not because you're unlucky, but because the system always charges extra when you forget and delay. It usually starts with no drama. You miss a date once, it happens. Then again, I was busy. Then you get hit with fees, penalties, strange interest charges, and the worst part is you get used to money disappearing into nothing. After that, it spreads, loan terms, insurance costs, financing, sometimes even rent decisions. Not overnight, but steadily. The fix is simple and practical. Here's what I do. First, set autopay for minimum payments everywhere you can. Not to crush the debt, just to prevent late fees and missed payments. It's protection from your own forgetfulness. Second, pick one specific day each week, 5 minutes to check your bills. Just open the list, look at dates and amounts. No deep budgeting session. Just make sure nothing is on fire. Third, use alerts. Reminders 3 to 5 days before due dates and notifications for charges. Because most losses don't come from big mistakes, they come from small I didn't notice moments. And last, once a month, do a quick check of your credit report score, and not to obsess over the number, but to catch problems early. A mistake, a duplicate charge, fraud, a forgotten bill, the earlier you see it, the cheaper it is to fix. And here's the important part, when you fix this one, the previous mistakes start working in your favor too. Because you stop losing money in places where it should never be lost. There's a short framework that ties all of this into one system, so it holds on its own, without constant willpower. Okay, so this doesn't stay as yeah, I get it. Here's a short setup that turns all 7 mistakes into one system. It takes about a minute, and after that it holds on its own without constant willpower. Step 1, write down 3 monthly numbers, what came in, what's non-negotiable, and what you're allowed to spend. Step 2, split the allowed to spend number by weeks, not by the month, so you don't blow it in the first 10 days. Step 3, on payday, automate a transfer into your emergency buffer. Small is fine, but it has to be consistent. Step 4, for debt, set a fixed payment above the minimum and attack one balance until it's done. Step 5, auto-pay minimums everywhere plus 1 day a week for 5 minutes to check bills and due dates. If you do these 5 steps, you'll quickly see which mistake is your main one, the one that pulls the rest behind it. Hit like, subscribe, and comment which mistake is you.